Hello friends, welcome to this video Design Thinking in Scrum. My name is Saurabh Pandey and I am a certified Scrum Master and Product Owner with 12 years of industry experience, having played various roles like developer, QA, project manager, product manager, pre-sales consultant. I have gained a lot of diverse experience in IT industry and have implemented projects in both waterfall and agile model. Currently involved in teaching, training, and consulting to organizations and individuals in Scrum and Agile. In this particular video, I'll be talking about design thinking and how it relates to Scrum. Let me start with design thinking thoughts that came up from a researcher in the field of human and computer interaction before he began investigating design methodology. And according to him, everyone can and does design. And we all design when we plan for something new to happen, whether that might be a new version of a recipe, a new arrangement of a living room furniture, or a new layout of a personal web page. And this statement is quite true, as in fact, in our day to day business, we keep innovating, we keep coming up with problem statements and issues that require solutions which will actually resolve the solution issue of problem of that particular user. And this design thinking framework can actually be helpful in dealing with those issues problem in more effective manner to be able to come up with efficient solution. So what are design thinking principles? These are the design thinking principles that are already mentioned in designthinking.ideo.com, and this gives us a rough idea of what we are talking about when we talk about principles. A principle is nothing but we need solutions to the complex problem which are really simple, clear, and honest. We don't really need a complicated solution to a complicated problem. Rather, we need to have simple solution and how that solution can inspire other people in their lives and raise their hopes and expectation. These are some of the principles that actually help us think that the solution that we build, whether it is a short term or a long term, how it can be sustainable, how it can be really collaborative. Friends, remember one thing, that a solution should not only come from one person. It should be a effective solution, must be a collaborative and inclusive one. Develop with the people who will use them. Surround the problem and solution in the same space where those people are also included. And Scrum buys all these principles. I'll talk more about this in coming slides. So design thinking, the key elements, as I can see, or we can always look up to Google and find out, is the design thinking starts with empathize phase, where the user who has a need or who is facing a problem talks to a person who is actually going to provide the solution. So that person who is going to provide the solution needs to empathize with the person who is explaining the issues. And then both have to talk to each other to come to a problem statement. That is called the define the problem statement. And define the problem stage is where we need to agree on something. And then based on the problem statement that we have defined, we need to ideate on different solutions, on multiple areas we need to explore. And remember friends, the solution need to be simple and it has to be really honest to be able to deal with the customer's problem, the user's problem. It has to be sustainable. And end of the solution structuring, we need to come up with a prototype, how it will actually look like. Because unless and until it takes a physical form, it will not mean anything. And once it has taken a physical form, a prototype, it has to be taken to that particular user to get his feedback, to understand how he feels about this particular solution or prototype. This phase is called test and review phase. So let's talk about these phases in terms of Scrum. How in Scrum these phases relates to. The empathize phase is where I feel is a product refinement phase, where the product owner comes to the development team to share the problem and issues that their customers are facing. And this is the phase where development team need to understand the people for whom you are designing. And development team really need to engage with product owner effectively to be able to identify the right users. And development team need to really understand how they can guide the innovation efforts and discover the emotions that guide behaviors. Next is to define the problem stage, and this particular phase comes in Scrum during product refinement phase only, where a series of conversation happens between development team and product owner. They disagree on something, they agree on something, and finally they come up with a problem statement which has to come from the development team who is going to provide the solution. And this problem statement has to consider the deep understanding of the users and the design space. This problem statement that the development team will come up with should inspire your team, should guide the innovation efforts, should be able to help you understand how might we have developed this solution in different way. So the third stage is ideate the solution. Now that we have understood the users, now we have understood the problem statement, we need to start thinking about multiple solutions that could actually resolve this particular problem. And this phase comes in Scrum during sprint planning, when the development team and product owner again talks about various solutions, large quantity of ideas, and diversity among those ideas comes up during this particular event. And you need to come up with some prototype which you can plan in the sprint planning. And remember, friends, that the ideation of the solution are leveraged to just not creating prototypes but stay beyond of your solution and increase the innovation potential of your solution set. Development team need to really come up with a effective solution to be able to address the need of the customer effectively. Finally, the prototype need to be built, and this happens in Scrum during sprint execution phase, where development team explores rough and rapid prototypes and they come up with different possibilities. And these possibilities are then understood within their team members during the sprint execution via various working session, various meetings that happens between the 2 weeks of sprint. We generally do prototyping to be able to learn something new. We want to solve the disagreement so that a prototype can be used as something that we all agree on. This can also help to start a conversation. This can also help to fail quickly and cheaply. Creating quick and dirty prototypes allows us to test a number of ideas without investing a lot of time and money upfront. So this is one of the areas where Scrum and design thinking really shaking hands with each other. And finally, we all have to share and showcase whatever prototypes that we have built during that 2 weeks of sprint with the product owner and the various stakeholders and users to get the feedback. We need to understand how they feel about it. Just go with the open mind in the sprint review. Understand that prototypes, whatever you have built, is right, But when you are testing, think that you are wrong. And with that mindset, you go and showcase that prototype. Let's test quickly and continuously to be able to learn more about the users, to redefine the problem statement even more clearly. And once we have understood feedback, and once we have understood and refined the prototypes and solution, take it to the next sprint in the Scrum framework and start the process again, to rebuild again and develop again. And this way we can actually mix both design thinking in Scrum to build a very effective solution for the customer. Team, hope you liked this video. If you are interested for more readings, just search for Google and look for design thinking, and medium.com, forbes.com has number of articles on it. And I would like to give credit to dschool.stanford.edu for some portion of the presentation are from this source. Thank you a lot for taking your time to see this video. Thank you. Bye bye.